You are Cooper, former pilot, father, dreamer, and the Earth is running out of time. The dust never really settles anymore. It just keeps floating soft layers that creep through the cracks of your windows, line the bookshelves, coat the breakfast plates. You wake up coughing. You fall asleep scratching it from your eyes. The old world is fading grain by grain. You walk to the front porch and take a breath, tasting the dryness in the air. Cornfields stretch out like tired bones under the pale morning sun. Not golden, not vibrant, just holding on. Murph is already outside, 9 years old and smarter than you ever were at that age. She's holding her school books like they're weapons, arms crossed, staring at the horizon. There was another dust storm last night, she mutters. I heard it, you say. Stepping beside her, she doesn't look at you, just keeps staring forward, like she's trying to read the sky. You sleep okay? The ghost was back. You raise an eyebrow. Ghost? She finally looks at you, serious as ever. In my room, knocking books off the shelf, making patterns. You try not to laugh. Maybe it's just gravity, or the wind. She frowns. It's not random. It's trying to talk to me. You want to dismiss it, but you know Murph. She's not the kind to make things up. And truthfully, strange things have been happening lately. The compass that spun without moving. The dust patterns on the floor that looked too clean to be natural. Back in the house, you make breakfast. Murph pokes at her eggs. The news plays on the static-covered television. Another farm's gone under. Blights killed most of the wheat. Only corn survives now, and even that's choking. You glance toward the mantel. A photo of your late wife stares back. You wish she were here. Not just for Murph, but for you. Because something's wrong with the world, and you feel like you're the only one still pretending it can be fixed. After dropping Murph off at school, you meet up with your father-in-law, Donald. He's fixing the old truck, knuckles black with grease. You hear about the moon landings being fake now? He asks with a smirk. You shake your head. They're rewriting history to make people feel better about eating dirt. He shrugs. People want comfort, not truth. You glance at the sky. The sun feels weaker than it used to. Later that afternoon, the tractor goes haywire. Again. You and your son, Tom, wrestle it back into control. The guidance system glitches, spinning it toward the fence. You shut it down, panting. Why does this keep happening? Tom asks. You check the wiring, then the old NASA patch stitched inside the casing. The same systems you used to fly with, recycled into farming equipment. Even the future's been repurposed. That night, the wind howls through the house like it's trying to tell you something. Murph's door creaks open. I wrote down the dust pattern, she says, holding out a notebook. It's binary. You take the paper. On it, vertical lines, ones and zeros forming a coordinate set. You blink. Could this actually be real? She looks up at you, hopeful. Can we go? You hesitate, then nod. The next morning, before sunrise, you're driving across the plains. Murph in the passenger seat, her feet dangling off the edge of the seat, eyes wide in anticipation. The coordinates lead you to a fence. No signs, just silence. Beyond it, an underground facility. And the moment you step inside, the past comes rushing back. NASA, alive, hidden, still dreaming. They're building ships, running simulations, planning something too big for the world to know. And standing at the heart of it all is Professor Brand. Cooper, he says with a small smile. You're a ghost from another era. You shake his hand. What the hell is this place? He doesn't answer right away. Instead, he nods to the screen behind him, a swirl of stars, a black hole, a distant galaxy. This, he says quietly, is hope. And in that moment, standing there in the hidden lungs of a dying world, you feel it too. The first breath of possibility. You sit across from Professor Brand in the cold underground meeting room. Murph is beside you, still gripping her notebook like a shield. Her eyes bounce from the glowing star maps to the thick folders Brand lays out across the table. She doesn't understand what any of this means. Neither do you. Not yet. We're NASA, Brand says calmly. What's left of it? He taps a star map, a spiral galaxy rendered in flickering blue. You see this? That's Gargantua. A black hole. Near it are 12 possible planets, worlds that might sustain life. Your eyebrows pull together. You're looking for a new Earth. He nods. The one we're on is dying. Blight will kill every crop. The air will turn to nitrogen. We won't starve, we'll suffocate. The words hit harder than you expect. You knew things were bad, but not that bad. You glance at Murph. She's staring at Brand like he just told her monsters are real. How do you even know these planets exist, you ask. Brand turns to the screen again. Because 10 years ago, we sent pioneers through a wormhole. It appeared near Saturn, placed there by someone. He pauses. We don't know who, but they opened a door, and now they need someone to walk through it. That's why you're here. They've been watching you, tracking your flight history, your instincts, your record. You're not just a farmer, you're a pilot. Still, we need someone who can get our crew there, find the right planet, and bring humanity home. You lean back slowly, processing. This is a rescue mission? Brand shakes his head. This is a survival mission. He slides a folder toward you. Inside are the two plans. Plan A, solve the gravity equation, launch the remaining humans into orbit, and start again on a new world. Plan B, if Plan A fails, carry a vault of frozen embryos to the new world and start the species over. You blink. So, either I save everyone, or no one ever knows I left. Brand nods solemnly. You'll be remembered either way. You walk the halls in silence after the meeting. Scientists murmur behind glass, monitoring spinning satellites, adjusting simulations. Robots roll past two strange machines named Tars and Case, walking like slabs of metal with limbs. They talk like people. The future is alive down here, quiet, calculating. But your thoughts are louder than the hum of the servers. You think of your kids, Murph, Tom, the way they clung to you when you carried them across the cornfields on your shoulders, the way your house creaked when the wind blew at night, and now you're supposed to just leave? Fly through a hole in space? Across a galaxy? Brand's daughter Amelia walks beside you. She's one of the crew. Sharp, cold, focused. You ask her why she's going. Because there's no future here, she says. Only memories. You nod, but don't reply. Because your memories are still alive. They sleep under your roof. Later that night, back home, you sit with Donald on the porch. The stars are brighter out here. No city lights to dull them. I have to go, you say quietly. He doesn't flinch, just sips his drink. I figured. You were born half out there anyway. You chuckle softly. I didn't want it to be like this. None of us did, he says. But Murph, she won't understand. You stare at the window upstairs where her light is still on. I don't expect her to. The next morning you pack in silence. Just a bag, no photos, no mementos. You don't want to carry heartbreak across the stars. Murph blocks the door, tears in her eyes. You're just gonna leave? I have to. No, you want to. You love space more than you love us. You kneel down, gripping her arms gently. That's not true. She's shaking, angry, scared. You said ghosts weren't real, she whispers. But what if you become one? Your heart cracks. You try to speak, to explain, but she runs, slams the door. You stand there, holding the words that came too late. Donald hands you the keys. Tom gives you a quick, silent hug. No one says goodbye. You drive off before the sun rises. The dust follows you, just like the guilt. At NASA, the launch pad waits. Your crew suits up Amelia Brand, Doyle, and Romilly. 4 humans about to disappear from Earth. possibly forever. You settle into your seat. The countdown begins. The engines rumble. And then for the first time in years, you leave the ground. You rise, past the clouds, past the blue, into the black. And Earth becomes nothing more than a fading memory in the rearview mirror. The hum of the ship is soft and constant, like a distant lullaby. You float inside the Endurance, a spinning ring of life drifting through space. The walls are clean, the air recycled, the gravity artificial. It's calm here. Quiet. Too quiet. Romilly checks the systems with a practiced ease. Doyle stares out the small porthole, watching the stars streak slowly past. Amelia runs diagnostics with steady hands, always focused. You try to rest, to sleep, but Earth is still too fresh in your memory. Murph's face, Tom's silence, the house you left behind, the bed you'll never lie in again. And yet, somehow, this place, this cold ring of metal hurtling through the void, already feels more like home than the dying world you left behind. Days pass in stretches of silence and starlight. The crew eats in shifts, floats through long hours of testing, reading, thinking. There's no sunrise here, no sunset, just the endless black of space, and the glowing planet slowly approaching on the monitor. Saturn. It looms larger with every hour, rings like soft golden thread curling around its cold body. You stare at it through the viewport, struck by its stillness, its beauty. It's hard to believe what waits nearby. The wormhole. It hovers just beyond Saturn's orbit, a shimmering, bending pocket of space, shaped like a floating sphere of water. It reflects light in strange ways. It hums with energy. You've never seen anything like it. No one has. Romilly's hands tremble slightly as he studies the data. We're about to cross into a higher dimension, he murmurs. Time and space folded into themselves. You nod, staring at the thing. Looks like someone pulled the universe inside out. Amelia floats beside you. They call it a shortcut. I call it a miracle. You glance at her. Do you believe in that? She pauses, then nods. I have to. The crew prepares. Seatbelts tighten. Systems lock. You grip the controls as Endurance lines up for entry. The wormhole pulses. You feel it not in your body, but in your mind. A pressure behind your eyes. A pulling sensation, like something vast and ancient is watching. Entering in 3, 2, the ship lurches, the screen warps, and then silence. Nothing makes sense. Up is sideways. Time bends around you. You see flashes your hand reaching out, light splitting in colors you've never seen. For a second, Amelia gasps, her voice stretches and folds, echoing through your helmet like wind. And then just like that, you're through. Endurance stabilizes. The hum returns. The crew breathes again. And in front of you is a new galaxy. A different star burns in the distance. Its warmth is dimmer. The planets orbit like pearls on a string. Romilly whispers, "We made it." You don't speak. You're still staring out the glass. Because this isn't just another sky. It's a different reality. You gather in the central module to review data. 3 planets orbit close enough to the black hole to potentially support life. Miller, Edmonds, and Man. The first Miller's planet is closest, but time dilation there is severe. Every hour on the surface equals 7 years up here. You do the math in your head. Murph is 13. If you spend just 3 hours down there, she'll be in her 30s when you return. Your heart tightens, but there's no choice. You have to know if it's habitable. Doyle and I will go, Amelia says. You shake your head. I'm the pilot. I'm going too. Romilly volunteers to stay behind, monitor from orbit. You pat his shoulder on your way to the lander. Keep the engine warm. He smiles weakly. Just don't be long. As you descend through the atmosphere of Miller's planet, your stomach turns. Waves crash far below, impossibly large. reaching for the sky and falling in slow motion. The surface glistens with shallow water. Metal debris floats like dead leaves. The lander touches down gently. You step onto the surface ankle deep in water. It's eerily still. No wind, no sound, just the occasional creak of shifting metal. The beacon from Miller's ship is still transmitting, but her ship is shattered, and she's nowhere to be found. Amelia retrieves the data. Doyle scans the horizon. Suddenly, the radio crackles. "Guys, you need to leave now." Romilly's voice, panicked. "There's a wave coming." You turn, and it's not a wave, it's a mountain. A wall of water stretching across the sky, heading straight for you. The horizon is moving. No, it's rising. It's a wall, no. A wave taller than anything you've ever seen. A black curtain of water, endless and soundless, growing by the second. Your legs freeze in the ankle-deep floodwater. The planet's surface was deceiving. It looked calm, but it was Neverland. Just a shallow ocean wrapped around chaos. "Get back to the ship," you shout, your voice cracking through the suit's radio. Amelia is still by the wreckage, fumbling with the data box. She hears you, turns sharply, but her eyes widen as she looks behind you. "I need 30 more seconds." "We don't have it." Doyle is already running, sloshing through the knee-high water, splashing up bursts with every desperate step. You race toward Amelia, grab her arm, and pull her away from the debris. "We're leaving now." Behind you, the roar begins. You can't hear it in the usual way, not with atmosphere this thin. It's more like a vibration, a pressure crawling across your skin and into your bones. You can feel the wave thinking, hunting. You reach the lander. TARS is already moving, mechanical limbs rotating in a blur, hoisting open the entry ramp as the surface tilts beneath your feet. Water is rising. Time is slipping. "Doyle!" you yell again. He's seconds behind you, too far. You extend your hand from the ramp, stretching toward him, and then the wave crashes. 1,000 tons of water sweep across the horizon like a liquid avalanche. The impact knocks you against the door. Doyle vanishes in an instant, a blur of white, swallowed in noise. Amelia screams. TARS slams the door. Water hammers the hull. The ship groans, rattles, lurches. Inside, silence returns, but it's the kind of silence that follows disaster. You catch your breath. Your heartbeat is deafening. Outside the window, only churning water, and the faint shape of Doyle's helmet drifting. Gone. 2 hours later, the wave passes. The lander lifts off. You break through the clouds, back into orbit. Silence filling the cockpit like smoke. You don't speak. None of you do. Romilly's voice greets you through the comms. "Welcome back." He sounds different, tired, older. You glance at Amelia, who's already realized it. "We were gone 2 hours," you say slowly. "Yeah," Romilly replies, exhaling. 23 years. The words sit heavy in the air. You stare out the window. You knew it would happen. Time dilation, black hole proximity. You knew. But knowing doesn't make it hurt less. 23 years. Gone in the time it took to outrun a wave. Back on the Endurance, Romilly's face shows it. Lines around his eyes, gray streaks in his beard, a slow way of moving that wasn't there before. He kept the ship alive, alone, for over 2 decades. You thank him. He nods once, silently. But it doesn't feel like enough. You go to your quarters. The crew gives you space. You pull up the old message log. The red light is blinking. You press play, and Tom's face appears. He's older now, almost your age. Worn, dusty, smiling tightly. "Hey, Dad. Thought I'd try again." You sit down slowly and watch. Message after message, years of them. Tom growing up, getting married, having a child, asking where you are, telling you it's okay if you're not coming back. Then, silence. Murph never sent one. Until the very last. Her voice, now an adult's, sharp, cold. You said you'd come back. You promised. You close your eyes. And for the first time since leaving Earth, you feel the weight of it. Not gravity, not distance, guilt. Later, in the common room, the crew gathers again. No one speaks of Doyle. You speak of what's next. 2 planets remain, Man and Edmonds. Man's planet had the most promising data, but something feels off. Amelia hesitates. You can see it in her face. She wants to go to Edmund's planet not for logic, but for love. He was her partner once, maybe more. You don't challenge her, but you don't agree either. You all vote. Man's planet wins. You set the course. The Endurance begins its next arc through space, and you stare into the stars, hoping that somewhere in the blur, you'll find a way to make up for the years you lost. Man's planet stretches beneath you like a graveyard of frost. White ridges fold across the horizon, frozen in stillness. There's no wind, no color, no life, just endless plains of cracked ice and jagged cliffs. It's silent, beautiful, in a dead kind of way. The lander's controls buzz gently under your fingers as you descend. You guide the ship toward the beacon, a blinking dot barely visible in the frost. Inside the cockpit, Amelia stares at the terrain with narrowed eyes. This place is colder than we thought. Romilly agrees through comms. Colder and higher gravity. You'll feel it. The ship bumps slightly as it touches down. Tars unclips himself and steps into the snow, his metal limbs adjusting to the terrain with rhythmic clunks. You follow, boots crunching into the icy crust. Every step is heavier, not just from the gravity. Something else presses on your chest. A feeling. You find the habitat, half buried in the ice, but still functioning. You open the door slowly. A hiss of air escapes. And there, curled in the chamber, surrounded by dim blue light and half-frozen supplies, is a man, Dr. Mann, alive. He blinks groggily, his beard patchy, his face pale. "It's you," he whispers. "You came." Amelia kneels beside him. "You've been in cryo for years." "I didn't think anyone would come." You don't say it aloud, but you wonder the same. Because this planet looks more like a prison than a home. Inside the habitat, man breathes deeply, eating slowly, regaining strength. He tells stories how he landed alone, how he explored the planet's surface, how the data showed promise. "There's ammonia in the atmosphere," he admits. "But further down, it's better. I sent the signals. I kept hope." He looks at each of you with eyes that flicker strangely. "I knew you'd come. Humanity had to come." You nod slowly, but in the back of your mind, something itches. Why would anyone fake survival? Why would anyone lie? Outside, you and Tars scout the terrain, while Amelia helps Man recalibrate the transmitter. The ice groans beneath your feet, not soft, not shifting, cracked, splintered, like it's hiding something. You run the samples through the reader. The planet's core isn't stable. Beneath the surface, it's not rock. It's cloud. Thin crust over a gas giant. Uninhabitable. You stare at the readings. This place is a trap. You turn to warn Amelia, but Man is already moving. It happens fast. A sudden rush. A shout through the comms. You race back across the snowfields, white hills blurring past. Your breath fogging your visor. Amelia's voice crackles in your ear. "Cooper, he's gone. He took the data drive." You find Man by the lander. He turns as you approach, his face no longer weak or grateful, but hardened, sharp, empty. "I had no choice," he says. He triggers the hatch, and then he attacks. The world spins. You hit the ice hard. Air whooshes from your suit. Man is on you, fists slamming, breath heaving. "I couldn't die here," he snarls. "I needed someone to come." You fight back, but he's wild, desperate. "This planet is a lie," you yell. "I know," he roars, "but I couldn't face death, not alone." Your helmet cracks. He slams it again. And then he runs. Leaves you there, bleeding, gasping, dizzy from the thinning oxygen. Tars finds you, lifts you out of the snow like a doll. You okay? Fix the ship, you choke out. He nods and skids off toward the other lander, already in the air with Man. You call Romilly. No answer. Static. Minutes later, Amelia radios in near tears. Man's trying to dock with Endurance. He's going to open the hatch. He doesn't know how. Her voice cuts. The screen shows it. Man reaching the airlock, fumbling, ignoring protocols. A moment later, an explosion. Metal splinters. The station spins violently. You stare in disbelief. He killed himself. Nearly destroyed the whole ship. For a lie. Tars manages to stabilize the spin. Barely. You take the controls. Blood drying on your temple. Voice calm. Endurance is in a death spiral, you say. But I'm gonna match it. You'll never catch the spin, Amelia says. I'm not gonna try. You take a breath. I'm gonna dock. The ship spins. You match it, wobbling, fighting G-force. Everything blurs. Alarms scream. Your hands tighten on the stick. And then click. The lock engages. You've done it. You've docked. Endurance holds. Just barely. In the silence that follows, you float in your seat, breath catching up. Amelia stares at you like you're a ghost, and you stare at the stars, knowing the only lies left to face now are your own. The Endurance drifts quietly now, stabilized, docked, scarred. You float in the command chair, helmet cracked at the edge, vision still blurry. Your ribs ache. There's blood dried against your cheek. But you're alive. Somehow, Tars hums beside you, his voice flat and mechanical. Docking successful. Ship integrity at 72%. Life support holding. Amelia floats in slowly from the corridor. Her eyes are tired. Her body limp from exhaustion and grief. You lock eyes. No one says anything for a moment. There's nothing to say. Man is dead. His planet was a lie. And now, because of it, you've burned up fuel you can't replace, lost years you can't get back, and shattered the last ounce of trust you had left in anyone's word. You clench your jaw. He knew. She nods. He always knew. He just didn't care. Back on Earth, Murph stands in front of a chalkboard. She's not a child anymore. Not even close. She's grown into a woman with your stubbornness and your fire. But none of your silence. She doesn't bury things. She lets them burn. Her hand wipes across the equations, erases everything, starts again. Professor Brand is dying in the next room, and she knows now. Plan A was never real. Romilly is gone too. Killed by a booby-trapped lab module on Man's planet, the final gift from a man who feared being forgotten. You take his nameplate and tuck it away in the storage compartment. A small, silent tribute. There's no time for mourning. No time for anything, really. The fuel reserves are low. The mission is unraveling. Earth is choking. And you still haven't found a planet that can carry life. Your eyes drift to the black hole on the monitor, Gargantua. It pulses like a living thing. Massive. Ancient. The gravity well that warps everything around it. It's the reason time is broken. The reason Murph is growing older while you float out here, frozen in moments. You watch her messages again. She's angry now. Rightfully. You knew, she says through the screen. All of you. She paces in front of the camera, rage pouring out. You lied to me. To Tom. To the whole world. You lean forward, gripping your knees. She figured it out, Amelia murmurs, watching behind you. She knows Plan A was never meant to work. You nod slowly. Brand never solved the gravity equation. He didn't have the data. The only way to unlock it is to observe a singularity from the inside. And the only way to do that is to go in, you whisper. You gather in the control room. The decision is clear, cold, final. If you slingshot around Gargantua, You can build enough velocity to reach Edmund's planet, but someone has to stay behind, to drop into the black hole, to transmit the data, to make Plan A real. I'll do it, you say quietly. Amelia shakes her head instantly. Number. It's me, you repeat. I've got kids back home. You've got work to do, people to rebuild with. She opens her mouth, ready to argue again, but then stops. She sees it in your eyes. This isn't a sacrifice. It's a return. You've been floating away from home for years. Now you're finally headed back, just not to the place you left. You prep the pods, set the course. The Endurance begins its spin. As you and Tars approach the drop point, the ship rattles with G-force. You ready? You ask. Tars answers like he always does. I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of boredom. You laugh once. Tight. Dry. Let's see what's inside then. You disengage. The pod drops, and gravity takes over. You fall. Faster than light, faster than time. The black hole swallows everything. The stars stretch. Your thoughts stretch. Tars speaks in bursts now. Distorted. The ship crumples, and then silence. You open your eyes, and you're somewhere else. Not space, not reality. A place that feels like memory. Stretching in every direction is a room. Your room. Murph's room. Endless shelves of books, floating in every dimension. You float behind the bookshelf like a ghost, watching a younger version of yourself tuck Murph into bed. You're in the Tesseract. Time has become a place. A landscape you can walk through. A hallway built from memories. Tars is still with you. We're in a 5-dimensional space built by them, he says. Aliens, maybe? Or future humans? They created this to help you. You touch the bookshelf. Dust stirs. You realize now you were Murph's ghost. You sent the coordinates. The books. The watch. You've always been trying to reach her, you just didn't know it. In this strange, shifting space, you find the moment Murph, staring at her old watch. The second hand ticks erratically. You code the quantum data from the singularity into the second hand. Morse code. A message from a father to his daughter. A lifetime too late. But just in time to save the world. The Tesseract shifts around you like a dream that breathes. Every wall is Murph's room, folded infinitely, stretching in all directions. Her books, her bed, her chalkboard. Echoes of your old home flicker through the dimensional maze. You float between layers of time, moments, memories. Murph at 10, crying on her bed. Murph at 15, tossing notebooks in frustration. Murph at 20, standing still in silence. You reach for the shelf, your fingers brush the spine of a book. It falls. In another layer, young Murph turns her head. She hears it. You whisper softly, as if your voice might reach her through the past. I'm here. Tar's voice comes through like a signal bouncing off the edge of the universe. They didn't bring us here to change the past, Coop. They brought us here so Murph could save the future. You nod slowly. The watch, the one you gave her before you left, she kept it. Still does. And now, you use it. Tars extracts the quantum data from the singularity, something no human could have gathered otherwise. You take the readings and tap them out into the second hand of Murph's watch. Over and over. A code only she would recognize. Morse. Each tick a burst of truth. The secret to gravity. The missing half of Brand's equation. She won't know it's from you. But you know she'll see it. She's always been watching, always listening, and she does. Back on Earth, Murph stands in her childhood bedroom, the old farmhouse creaking quietly under the weight of time. Dust glows in the afternoon light. She picks up the watch from the shelf. Something's wrong. The second hand, it's stuttering, but not randomly. She tilts her head. It's repeating. She stares at it, eyes wide. And then it clicks. Her hands shake. Tears rise. She runs for the chalkboard, and she begins to write. Outside the window, the cornfields stretch into the fading horizon. Inside, Murph races against the light. She solves the equation, completes what Brand couldn't, unlocks the key to gravity. Earth can be saved. Humanity can leave. Not just frozen embryos. Everyone. Inside the Tesseract, you feel the walls begin to collapse. Tar's voice grows distant. They're closing it, Coop. We gave them what they needed. Our mission's complete. The library folds in on itself. Books spiral away into the dark. You reach toward Murph one last time. She's older now. Your age. She doesn't see you. But maybe she feels something. A breeze that shouldn't be there. A warmth in her chest. A whisper that says, I never left you. And then you let go. You fall. Not through air, not through space, but through meaning, through time, through everything. And then darkness. You wake up gasping. White light, cold air, a bed you don't recognize. Your fingers twitch. Your mouth is dry. A nurse stands beside you, clipboard in hand. She smiles. You're awake. You blink. Look around. It's a hospital room. But not like any you've ever seen. The view outside is filled with stars. You're not on Earth. You're on a station, floating above Saturn. They call it Cooper Station, named after Murph, after the woman who saved the world. Your daughter, the girl who cracked gravity using the data you gave her across time. She's here, old now, frail, famous, and waiting. You rise slowly, body aching with years you never lived. They walk you to her room. Your boots echo softly against the polished floor. The door opens, and there she is, Murph. She turns to you, tears already falling. I knew you'd come back. You step forward, hands shaking, heart full. I promised. She smiles through her tears. I knew the ghost was you. You laugh, the kind of laugh that only comes after a lifetime of guilt and longing. You sit beside her. She rests her hand in yours. You should go, she says quietly. There's nothing left for you here. Go find Brand. She's alone out there. You stare at her. She's right. But for now, you just hold her hand and let the moment last. Murph's hand is light in yours. Thin, cold, but still so alive. Her face is lined with years, but her eyes? Still sharp, still that same fire. The same storm of questions and certainty that used to fill the air of your kitchen back on Earth. Now, they're the only thing grounding you. She stares out the window beside her bed, watching Saturn's rings curl silently across the void. You kept your promise, she whispers. You squeeze her fingers. You did more than that. You found me. You found them. You solved the equation. Murph smiles faintly, like a candle fighting to stay lit. We did it together. I just had to believe long enough. You pause, then ask what you've been afraid to ask. Do you forgive me? She doesn't answer right away. She looks at your hand, then the stars, then back at you. You were never gone. You were always trying to come back. That's what mattered. Your throat tightens. You have to go now, she says softly. You shake your head, blinking. I just found you. I know, she says, smiling, but no parent should watch their child die. She closes her eyes and rests. And for the first time in forever, you don't feel like a ghost. You feel like a father. Later, the station hums softly beneath your boots. You walk its curved halls. Everything is clean, bright, full of life. Earth's last survivors. Scientists, families, children laughing. The future. Born from data you delivered across a singularity. Tars rolls up beside you, his tone calm but curious. She's right, you know. Brand's still out there. You nod. You've seen the footage. Before you fell into the black hole, she made it to Edmund's planet. It's habitable, alive. She's building something, a foundation, but she's alone. You look out the main viewport again, past the glowing curve of Saturn, into the dark. "Let's go," you say. Tars beeps in agreement. "I'll steal a ship," you add. Tars rotates his panels. "I'll prep it." Cooper Station doesn't stop you. They name it after Murph, after all. And everyone here knows your story. You're the ghost who became the reason they exist. No one questions the launch. A sleek, personal vessel hums on the pad. Small, fast, efficient. Just you and Tars. One more journey. One last mission. The ship lifts from the station. You guide it toward the horizon. As you leave the shadow of Saturn, light pours through the windows. Not sunlight, but starlight. It's enough. You set the course. Amelia is waiting. Far away, on a quiet world orbiting a distant star, Brand walks slowly across a field of pale green grass. Her helmet off. The air is fresh. Thin, but breathable. In the distance, the memorial marker for Edmonds stands among the stones. She places her hand on it, silent, then turns and stares at the horizon, as if she feels something approaching. Not a sound, not a signal, just a feeling that she's not alone anymore. You accelerate through the black. No more missions. No more saving the world. This time, it's just a reunion. 2 survivors, 2 explorers, 2 people who once risked everything for the chance to begin again. You rest your head back against the seat. And for once, you don't dream of Earth. You dream of stars. The stars are silent out here. Not the busy, blinking sky of Earth. Not the faint radio chatter of Cooper Station. Just space. Real space. The kind where time thins and sound disappears. You sit in the pilot seat, eyes half closed. The hum of the engines is soft enough to be mistaken for wind. You rest your fingers on the throttle nut because you need to, but because it reminds you you're still steering something, still choosing. Tars is folded down beside you in rest mode. His system pings quietly every few hours, checking trajectory, keeping the path clear. He doesn't talk much now, neither do you. There's no rush. You both know where you're going. Hours pass, or maybe days. Hard to tell. Your dreams are full of faint colors and soft voices. Murph's voice when she was little. Amelia's laugh, quiet and rare. Tom's stubborn tone. Donald's rants about government and food and what was worth saving. You miss them all, but you're not grieving anymore. You're remembering. You smile in your sleep. At some point, you wake, and Tars speaks. We're close. You sit up, blink away the blur of rest. Outside the window, the stars look slightly different now. Brighter, less filtered by distance. You lean forward. A planet comes into view half lit, with a peach-colored atmosphere and long mountain ranges that stretch like claw marks across its surface. It's beautiful, you whisper. Tars responds flatly. Surface conditions are stable. Gravity is within tolerable range. Oxygen and nitrogen levels are consistent. Signs of structures. One habitation dome. Functioning greenhouse modules. Basic heat source. You nod. That's all you need to hear. She's alive. The ship eases into orbit. The descent is smooth. You take the controls, even though the autopilot is more than capable. Some things just feel better with your hands on them. The clouds part as you descend. Pale skies, distant sun. And below, on a long ridge surrounded by strange violet grass, you see it. The dome, half covered in dust, but pulsing with life. You land softly just beyond the edge. Your boots hit the soil. And for the first time, in what feels like years, you're walking towards something that's not running out of time. The entrance to the habitat is open. She must have seen you coming. Inside, it's warm. Not cozy, but functional. Every panel has a purpose. Every wire is doing something necessary. It's the kind of place where no energy is wasted, not even on emotion. She stands at the far wall, staring at the data board. Her back is to you. You take a step closer, she speaks before turning. Took you long enough. You laugh. Fuel prices went up. She turns and smiles. It's not a big smile. Not the kind that says everything is okay. It's the kind that says she believed this moment would come, even if she didn't know when. You stand there, in the soft hum of her machines, and for a second, neither of you says a word. There's no need to. Later, you sit beside the greenhouse dome, legs stretched out, breathing in air that smells faintly of metal and leaves. Amelia sits beside you, sipping from a recycled flask. You both watch the twin moons rise. So, she says finally, what now? You think for a moment, then shrug. We plant things, build things, teach people what we know. She nods slowly. And maybe this time, we get to stay. You look up at the sky again, and for the first time in your life, you don't want to go anywhere else. You wake to soft orange light bleeding through the dome's panels. A new sunrise, new stars above, a new place to grow old. You sit up slowly on the cot inside the habitat module. Your back cracks not from age, but from memory. Your muscles are still adjusting to the planet's gravity, lighter than Earth, but heavier than the weight you've carried. Tars is charging in the corner, humming quietly like a digital fireplace. His systems flicker green. You stand and breathe. It's your first morning without a mission in decades. You're not chasing a solution. You're not running out of time. You're just here. Outside, Amelia is already tending to the greenhouse. Rows of crops grow beneath biolights. Potatoes, spinach, something purple that smells like lavender and diesel fuel. She glances back at you over her shoulder. You sleep at all? You grunt. Enough, she smirks. You always say that. You step beside her, kneeling to inspect the irrigation lines. Everything is surprisingly clean. You can tell she's been maintaining this place with the discipline of a soldier and the patience of a monk. How long have you been alone? You ask. She keeps working. 2 years since the last signal. About a year since I stopped expecting a reply. You nod. I thought the planet would be colder, you say. She shrugs. It was. Then the atmosphere stabilized. Rain came. Sunlight filtered differently. You glance out across the terrain. Hills, ridges, a long plain of soft grass, swaying in slow wind. This place is alive. Later, you both sit outside the dome, Tars projecting star charts in midair. There's a valley to the north with fresh water and deep soil, he says. Best site for long-term colony expansion. Amelia looks at you. We could start building. You nod. But you don't move. You're staring up at the sky. What? She asks. You shake your head. I was just thinking. Murph's probably gone now. Amelia lowers her eyes. You pause. She saved everyone. Earth. Cooper Station. They named it after her, you know. I know, she says. She earned it. There's silence. Then she asks, do you regret going? You don't answer at first. I regret the time she lost, but not what she became. The nights here are quiet. No crickets, no wolves, just wind brushing over stone and leaves. You sit on the hill with a solar lantern beside you, watching the moons arc across the sky. One is dusty and red, the other pale and smooth like glass. They chase each other endlessly, like siblings that never get tired. You smile. Back in the dome, Amelia's asleep already. She leaves her boots by the door now, a small sign that she's no longer expecting to sprint out into danger. You join her in silence. No words, no need. The stillness is enough. You close your eyes, and instead of dreams of Earth, you dream of building, of planting, of growing old beside someone who knows what you've seen. And suddenly, for the first time in your life, you're not haunted by time. You're part of it. You wake before sunrise. The sky is still purple, veined with stars. There's a silence outside the dome that feels deeper than anything on Earth. Not empty just, ancient. The kind of quiet that makes you feel like you've stumbled into someone else's sacred place. You sit by the dome's edge, wrapping your arms around your knees, and you remember. You remember Murph 5 years old, running through the house barefoot, a trail of dirt and chalk dust behind her. You remember her laugh echoing off the wooden walls of the farmhouse. The way she'd look at you when she didn't understand something and trust you'd explain it, even if it didn't make sense yet. You remember the fight the night before you left. She told you not to go. She begged. And you promised you'd come back. At the time, you didn't know how much that promise would weigh on both of you. The memory fades, and you look out over the hills. This place has no cities, no highways, no transmissions humming in the background. But it's real. And you're here. You rub your palms together and head to the new build site. Tars is already there, arms extended, moving stones with mechanical precision. Amelia's marking distances in the dirt with a carbon rod. You join without a word and begin digging. That's the rhythm now. Wake, build, eat, think, sleep, repeat. You and Amelia speak more now, not just about logistics or repairs. You talk about Earth, about what came after, what came before. One night she asks, "Do you think anyone else will come?" You don't answer right away. Then, Murph said they would. Eventually, she believed in people. Amelia nods. So did I. Once. You look at her. You still do, or you wouldn't have kept this place alive. She smiles just barely. Maybe. Tars patrols the perimeter each evening. He hums a low tune now when he's idle. You don't know where he learned it, but you recognize the notes. Something from old Earth. Maybe from Murph's childhood. You don't stop him. You're fixing the solar cells one afternoon when you see it. A small flicker in the sky. A dot. Moving. You grab the scope and focus. It's not a star. It's a relay. Low orbit. A sign. Someone's out there. Someone else made it. You show Amelia. She exhales. And something shifts in her shoulders. Relief. Maybe. Or maybe fear. If someone else made it, she says, we're not alone anymore. You watch the sky and say, good. That night you can't sleep. You sit with the scope again, watching the stars dance. And you talk. Not to anyone there, just to the stars. I wish I could have told you in person, Murph. How proud I was. How sorry. You pause. I never thought I'd make it here, but I did. I'm okay now. And I think I might stay. You lower the scope and let the silence answer. You see it before Amelia does. A small glint across the clouds, barely noticeable like a star blinking too low. At first, you think it's debris, maybe a shard from an old mission, maybe a flare. But then it moves again, steady, controlled. Tars, you call. He rolls to your side, optics adjusting instantly. Object detected. Altitude 11,000 meters. Controlled descent. Unknown origin. Amelia joins you at the ridge. She sees it too now. It's a ship, she says quietly. You all watch in silence as the vessel descends sleek. Black. Smaller than Endurance, but newer. Smoother. It lands gently in the plains beyond the greenhouse, kicking up dust and folding its wings into the hull like a resting bird. No insignia, no markings, just the hum of heat dispersing from its engines. You approach slowly, Amelia beside you. Tars rolls ahead, scanning for biosigns, electromagnetic interference, weapon signatures. All quiet. Then the hatch opens, and someone steps out. A woman, clothed in dark gray, visor lifted. Her eyes scan the horizon, like she's memorizing the shape of it. Behind her, a second figure emerges taller, thin, wearing a similar suit. They don't speak. Not yet. You stop a few paces away. I'm Cooper, you say. Amelia lifts a hand. Brand. The woman's face relaxes. I know, she says. Her voice is calm, almost rehearsed. We're from the third wave. Station sent us to confirm viability of Site 2. This was the priority destination once Plan A was enacted, and once Murph's gravity work was declassified. You blink. So Murph's work really did make it across the galaxy. It changed everything. They join you inside the dome later. The four of you sit in the lab module, passing rehydrated coffee between hands that haven't held warmth in days. Their story is simple. Cooper Station had expanded. Resources were tight. But they found a way. Cryosleep, solar sails, slingshot launches. You weren't forgotten. Neither was Brand. That night, after they're asleep, you and Amelia walk the ridge again. Feels strange, she says. What does? Not being alone anymore. You watch the sky. That's how it's supposed to be. She nods. Then after a pause, think we can handle it? You glance at her. The people or the planet? She smiles faintly. Both. The next few days are full of motion. Scans, soil tests, mapping. The new arrivals are efficient, but respectful. They defer to Amelia's authority, listen when she speaks. TARS shares data with their machines. Even Case, still operational from the endurance debris, hums again with fresh code. Something begins to take shape here. Not just a settlement, not a bunker, but a colony, a real one. And for the first time since stepping on this world, you start to believe in it too. At night you build, with your hands. Real walls, beams, stone reinforced with carbon fiber, rooms with beds instead of cots, hallways instead of tunnels. It's rough work, but it's honest. Amelia helps. You don't talk much. You don't need to. The rhythm says everything. Eventually, one of the new arrivals pulls you aside. The young engineer. He says, "You're the Cooper, right? The pilot? The one from the black hole?" You nod, a little uncomfortable. He stammers, "I just wanted to say thank you. My family wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. My mother, she used to tell stories about Murph. Said she was the smartest person she ever met." You don't know what to say, so you just nod. He smiles, embarrassed, and walks away. You stand alone that evening on the ridge, watching the twin moons rise again. The stars are a little dimmer, now more light from the new colony. More movement, more life, and you smile. Because Murph was right. The world doesn't end. It just changes. There's noise now. Not chaos, but activity. Hammers striking steel. Laughter from the new greenhouses. The low rumble of transport drones weaving across the valley. Children's footsteps echoing along makeshift corridors. It feels like Earth, but cleaner, lighter. You walk the path from the ridge to the central dome with a toolbox in one hand and fresh panels under your arm. TARS rolls beside you, his sensors pinging softly. 30% increase in habitable square footage since arrival of second team, he reports. Projected growth, exponential. You grunt. Feels that way. He pauses. Is that a complaint? You chuckle. It's a surprise. Amelia has become something of a leader again. But this time, not because of rank. Not because she's the daughter of a genius or the last hope of a dead world. This time, people listen because she knows things. Because she's lived here, and she stayed. You see it in the way they look at her. Quiet respect, and the way she walks now less heavy, as if she no longer carries a planet on her back. You spend the day repairing a comms array that got shorted out by a minor dust storm. Funny. A few years ago, you were slipping through a black hole with seconds left on the clock. Now, you're unscrewing a busted solar panel and wiping sand off your forehead like a farmer again. You smile to yourself. Maybe things do come full circle. That night, as the colony settles, you sit on the hillside, again your favorite spot. You can see the glow of the domes below. They pulse gently in the dark, like fireflies on a summer night. TARS rests beside you, watching the stars. You finally ask him, "Do you miss Earth?" He answers after a moment. "I don't think I was programmed to miss things, but I do remember it." You nod. That's close enough. You stare at the twin moons rising again one behind the other this time, like shadows chasing shadows. The next morning there's tension in the comms center. Amelia calls you in. The engineer you spoke with a few nights ago is standing over a terminal, pale. He points to a long-range signal map. Unidentified burst, 12 hours ago, from orbit. You frown. Another ship? Could be. But it's scrambled, fragmented, like someone doesn't want us tracing it. TARS processes it quickly. It's not from Cooper's station, it's not automated, and it's not ours. Silence settles over the room. Could it be from Earth? Someone asks. No, Amelia answers, already typing. Earth's gone dark. This is something else. You feel it, deep in your bones and instinct. Something's coming, and not everything that comes to a new world arrives with peace. Later that day, while running diagnostics on the dome's power system, you hear something strange outside a soft click, like static cutting through the air. You step out. The wind is calm. The sky is clear, but something flickers in the distance, like movement where there shouldn't be any. You squint. Nothing. Just the tall grass swaying. Still, your heart pounds harder than it should. That night, you can't sleep. You sit outside again, but this time your hand rests on the handle of a tool that doubles as a weapon, an old habit you thought you'd lost. Amelia joins you without a word. She sits down, knees to her chest. You feel it too, she says. You nod. This place has been quiet for a long time, she whispers. But the universe doesn't stay quiet. You watch the moons together. And for the first time since landing, you're not sure what tomorrow holds. The next day starts quiet. Too quiet. The morning breeze carries less warmth. The clouds hang low, like they're hiding something. And inside the main dome, the air feels heavier. People whisper, glance toward the sky more than usual. No one says it, but everyone knows. Something's changed. You're in the communications hub when the signal flares again. Louder this time. Clearer. A pulse then. A pause. Then another. TARS analyzes instantly. It's not natural. Structured. Like a beacon. You stare at the screen. A distress call? TARS responds. If it is, it's not asking for help. You feel a chill crawl up your spine. You gather with Amelia and the rest of the colony's leadership that evening. The room is dim, lit by solar lanterns and the glow of monitors. No one speaks at first. Then one of the engineers says, "We traced the burst. Low orbit. Moving. Not in a stable pattern." Amelia frowns. "So it's circling?" "No," TARS corrects. "It's observing." The silence that follows says everything. You lean forward. Voice calm. "We need to know what it is." Someone else speaks up. "We should stay quiet. If it hasn't approached, maybe we don't give it a reason. But you've seen enough to know better. If something's watching us," you say, "it already knows we're here." Later, you're back on the ridge. TARS beside you. The night is darker than usual. The moons haven't risen yet. You look up. Nothing. Just stars. Endless and quiet. You remember when that silence used to feel comforting. Now it feels like a breath being held. 2 days pass. The signal repeats. Always the same 3 pulses. TARS starts decoding patterns. Not language timing. Every time someone leaves the perimeter, he reports, the pulse rate increases. You test it yourself. You take one of the rovers out past the greenhouse line. Within minutes, the signal returns faster now. Almost urgent. You turn back. It fades. That night, Amelia approaches you outside your quarters. "I think it wants us to do something," she says. You nod. "It's not random. It's waiting." She hesitates. Then, "Do you want to go up there?" You look toward the stars again. You don't answer. The next morning, you suit up. So does TARS. The colony's orbital pod isn't meant for long-range travel, but it'll do. Just one pass. A quick orbit. Scan whatever's out there. You're not looking for confrontation, just understanding. The colony watches silently as you launch. Amelia's eyes follow you all the way up. Once you break the atmosphere, the world below shrinks into soft green and gold curves. It's beautiful, peaceful. But you're not here for beauty. You're here for truth. TARS locks onto the source of the signal within minutes. It's a satellite, he says. You exhale. An old one? Unknown design. Not Cooper Station, not ours, not Earth. Your jaw tightens. Then whose? Tars hesitates. No origin signature. No ID. Just a single word, broadcasting in a forgotten dialect. You glance at the monitor. Tars translates it slowly. One word, over and over. It says, observe. You stare at it through the viewfinder. It doesn't move, doesn't transmit anything else, just watches. Then the signal cuts. Dead silent. No warning. Tars leans toward the controls. Whatever it was, it's gone. You check the radar. Nothing. Not debris, not a trail. Just open, silent space again. You descend in silence. Back to the colony. Back to the world you helped build. But something's different now. You know the stars are no longer watching in silence. Something else is out there, and it saw you. The sky feels heavier now. Not darker, not louder, just heavier. As if something vast and unseen passed overhead and left gravity behind like fingerprints. You step out of the pod. Amelia's waiting. You don't say anything, just shake your head. She understands. The others gather, waiting for a briefing. You keep it simple. Satellite's gone, not ours. No origin trace, no danger, yet. They nod, but you can see it in their eyes worry, tightening like vines. That word, observe, it stuck with them too. The colony keeps moving. People still work. Children still play. But something's shifted. The laughter is quieter. Conversations carry more weight. People walk a little faster from dome to dome, looking over their shoulders just a second longer than before. You notice the engineers adding more shielding to the central core, just in case. No one tells them to, but they do it anyway. Amelia finds you in the greenhouse one morning. You're fixing the irrigation line again. Something about it always leaks. She sits beside you, knees drawn up. I used to think the scariest part was being alone, she says. You keep working. Now, I think, maybe it's being watched, being known, without understanding why. You pause, eyes still on the pipe. Maybe that's why we left Earth, you say softly, to stop being watched by our own failures. She doesn't reply, but she stays beside you a while. And that's enough. That night, you lie awake. The ceiling above you hums gently with recycled air. But your mind isn't on air. It's on Murph. You wonder what she would have said about the satellite, about the signal, about observe. She would have figured it out by now. You smile. I hope you're watching, you whisper. I hope you're proud. In the days that follow, Tars continues scanning. He finds nothing. No more signals. No movement. It's like the stars have gone quiet again. But now, the silence feels intentional. As if whatever was watching, you got what it needed and left. Weeks pass. The colony expands. Children build stone circles in the fields. Adults map water routes and carve out new tunnels for expansion. Life goes on. But at night, when the wind is still and the moons rise, you sometimes wonder, was it ever about us? Or were we just a test? You find Amelia on the western ridge, staring at the stars. She speaks without turning. Do you think it was human? You shake your head. Number, she finally looks at you. But it didn't hurt us. You nod. Maybe it didn't need to. You both sit in silence. And for the first time in weeks, the quiet feels like peace again. Tars joins you both, his voice lower than usual. I've completed trajectory calculations for all known signals. The point of origin may be deeper than our current galaxy. You raise an eyebrow. So it didn't just appear. It came from somewhere. Possibly, or someone. You stare out at the stars. Time travel again? Tars clicks softly. I'm not ruling anything out. You breathe deeply and exhale. Well, you mutter. If it circles back again, we'll be ready. Back in your quarters, you write. Not logs, not data, just thoughts. To Murph, to Tom, to Donald, to Earth. You write about the way the sky looks different here, how food tastes sharper, how the silence is both comforting and unsettling, how a man can outrun time, but never his own memory. You leave the notebook open on your desk, just in case someone finds it later, just in case they wonder who helped start all this. You sleep better that night, not because the stars are quieter, but because you are. The colony has grown so much that no one remembers where the first boundary markers were placed. They've all been moved, redrawn, expanded. So when the excavation crew hits something metallic beneath the western field, it feels like a forgotten artifact from another life. You're there within the hour. The dirt is still fresh, damp with morning dew. The circular shape cold, rustless, unnatural. Tars scans it. His voice is flat. No known alloy composition. No structural degradation. This object has not been exposed to environmental decay. You kneel beside it. Run your fingers along its edge. It doesn't belong here. Not to this colony. Not even to Earth. It takes 3 days to fully uncover it. A large hatch. Smooth. Seamless. Unmarked. The kind of thing you only see in theoretical schematics for advanced civilizations. Buried like a memory, not a machine. You stand in front of it with Amelia and the other leads. Do we open it? Someone asks. You don't answer, because deep down, you already know it's not a question. It's an inevitability. The next morning, it opens on its own. A soft hiss. A thin vertical slit appears down the middle, and the entire surface peels apart like a blooming flower of steel. Inside, stairs. Downward. Lit with a pale, pulsing glow. You grip the rail without thinking. It's cold, but not lifeless. You descend with Amelia and Tars. The walls shimmer with reflective light, like liquid metal frozen in time. Symbols float across the surface, a known of them, familiar. Not human, not coded, just expressive. Like math and art combined, Amelia whispers. This wasn't built, it was grown. You reach the chamber below and find something impossible, a room, circular, empty but humming with purpose. At the center, a pedestal, and on that pedestal hovering an orb, black, smooth, and slowly spinning. You approach. It doesn't move away. It doesn't react. It just waits. Tars begins scanning, then stops. I can't read it. You frown. You always say that before you figure it out. Tars's voice drops. I literally can't. It's like the data's folding in on itself. Every scan collapses. Amelia circles the pedestal slowly. It's not meant to be understood like a machine. You look at her. What then? She stares at the orb. Memory. Back at the surface, the colony is buzzing. People want to know, what is it? Where did it come from? What does it mean? You don't have answers, only impressions. Like the way the orb changed color slightly when you placed your hand near it, or how your heart started racing not from fear, but recognition, as if somewhere deep inside you'd seen it before. That night, you lie awake again, but this time, your dreams are different. Not memories, not fears, images, shapes. A room with bookshelves that stretch forever, a hand reaching through space, a child's laugh echoing through a time-locked chamber. You wake in a cold sweat. Tars is already waiting. I think it's a message, he says, encoded in space, not time, stored in a form we can't yet parse. You sit up, then we don't just observe it. No, he says. We listen. Amelia joins you at sunrise. You both stand at the hatch again. Do you think they left it for us? She asks. You nod slowly. Or maybe we left it for ourselves. You both stare into the glowing dark and descend again. Together, You stand in the chamber again. That same faint glow surrounds the orb. It hasn't moved, but it's different. The air feels thicker now, like it's holding its breath. Amelia is next to you, silent. Tars is scanning again this time, not with instruments, but with radiation-free telemetry, low-frequency tones, even basic harmonic resonance. None of it sticks, until you step forward and raise your hand. The orb pulses Ansasoft, white. You don't touch it, but something touches you. Suddenly, you're not in the room. You're standing in a cornfield, back on Earth. Wind whipping through the stalks, sun warm on your skin. Murph's voice calls out from the house behind you. You spin around, but no one's there. The field blurs, and the orb pulses again. Now you're in space, looking at Saturn. Then inside a tesseract. But it's not your tesseract. It's built differently. Cleaner. More. Evolved. You see other versions of yourself. 100 windows. 1,000 timelines. All overlapping. All you. Then it all fades. You collapse backward into Amelia's arms. You're gasping. Cold sweat down your back. She kneels beside you, eyes wide. What did you see? You shake your head. It wasn't just a vision. It was me. But not me now. She steadies your breathing and whispers, "We need to go back." Back at the surface, you spend the night replaying the flashes. The cornfield. Murph's voice. The tesseract. Different timelines like pages in a book being flipped all at once. It felt familiar, not like discovery, but like recognition. You wake at dawn and speak to Tars privately. Could it be us? He pauses. You mean humans from the future, like the ones who built the tesseract? He hums. If so, they've left a message, or a choice. You nod. But why here? Because you came here, he says. Because you were meant to. You gather the colony's leadership. You tell them about the vision, about the feeling of being connected to something much, much larger than this planet, something outside of time. Some listen with skepticism, others with awe, but no one denies that the orb is not just a machine. It's a door. Amelia visits you in your quarters that evening. She's holding a small notebook, your notebook. I read your entries, she says. The ones you wrote to Murph. You nod, suddenly vulnerable. I think the orb was listening too, she whispers. You meet her eyes, and for a moment, it all makes sense. The next time you descend, it's alone. You place your hand near the orb again. It pulses, and this time you speak. I'm ready. The room shifts. Not physically, but in sensation. You feel your heartbeat slow. Your thoughts stretch like they're floating. And you hear a voice, not with your ears, but in your mind. It says, memory is survival, so is choice. Then nothing. The orb dims, and you fall back, breathing hard. You return to the surface, a different man. You're not afraid. You're not lost. You're simply aware now that you are part of something bigger, that time is not linear, that love and memory are forces that don't obey physics. They bend them. That night, you dream again. This time, you see Murph, older, smiling, and she whispers, "Keep going, Dad." You wake early. The first rays of light break across the horizon, casting long golden streaks across the greenhouse windows. It almost looks like Earth, but you know this world is different. And now, it feels even more alien. You gather the colony that morning, not in a lab or a dome, but out in the open, on the ridge, beneath the sky. Because this isn't just a scientific report anymore. It's a decision. You speak plainly. There's something buried beneath us that isn't human, but it also is. I can't explain it all, and I won't pretend to understand it, but it spoke to me. In visions, in memories, in something deeper than words. Amelia steps forward beside you. This planet was always meant to be more than a shelter. I think we were drawn here. like gravity itself had a plan. The crowd listens, quiet, still. Then someone asks the question everyone's been circling. What do we do with it? That night, there are hushed conversations in every dome. Some want to seal it away, lock the hatch, focus on farming, survival, the tangible. Others say it's too dangerous to ignore. If it's technology from the future, or from something else entirely, it could hold knowledge that changes everything. You understand both sides, you really do. But something in you, something born in the black hole, in the tesseract, in the last look Murph ever gave you, tells you this wasn't an accident. This was placed, like a message in a bottle, to be found only when humanity was ready. TARS brings you new scans the next day. The orb is responding to electrical impulses, he says. Heartbeat rhythms, neural activity. It's adapting, not to our machines, to us. You frown. You mean, it's learning? TARS nods. Or remembering, Amelia whispers. What if it's a seed? You look at her. A seed for what? She shrugs. Consciousness. Memory. A bridge between timelines. Maybe it's not about traveling time anymore. Maybe it's about connecting it. You descend again, this time with a group of volunteers, engineers, biologists, philosophers, even a child who begged her mother to come just to see the glowing thing. The orb pulses brighter when the group enters, as if acknowledging them, welcoming. One of the biologists reaches out, placing her palm near it. She gasps. And when you ask what she saw, she says, "My mother. But I never met her. I just knew." Others step forward, one by one. Each sees something different. Not hallucinations, not fantasy, but fragments of identity, memory, emotion. Not from the past, but from somewhere else. Back on the surface, you sit alone with Amelia. The stars above seem to pulse now, like echoes of the orb itself. She says, "It's not just about science anymore, is it?" You shake your head. Number. It's about humanity, about remembering who we are even when we forget ourselves. She smiles. Then what happens next? You look out over the darkened domes of the colony, and beyond that, the ridgeline where stars fall like embers. And you say, "We stop surviving, and we start evolving." You enter the chamber alone. No scans, no teams, just you, TARS, and silence. The orb hovers as it always has, but now its glow expands slowly, stretching across the walls like ripples on still water. TARS monitors the frequency. "It's synchronizing," he says. "Not just with you, with all of us." You take a breath, step forward, and the world bends. Suddenly, you're not in the chamber anymore. You're standing in a room, not futuristic, not alien, just familiar. Wood-paneled walls, bookshelves filled with notebooks and photographs, a ticking clock on the mantel, the scent of old paper and coffee. It looks like your childhood home, but different, cleaner, more timeless. You see a figure by the window, back turned, not moving. You speak, but your voice makes no sound. The figure turns. It's Murph, but not young, not old, somewhere in between, and somehow timeless. She doesn't speak, she just smiles, and everything around you dissolves into stars. You fall backward into space. No suit, no fear, just weightlessness. Galaxies spiral beside you, and in their centers more orbs, millions of them, floating like seeds in a cosmic ocean. You hear a voice again. Not Murph's, not yours, something larger. It speaks without sound. You are the bridge. You carry memory through time. You are not bound by gravity anymore. The vision changes. You see the colony from above, then from before. Before the domes, before the crops, just raw land, empty. Then time rushes forward. You see the first hammer strike, the first fire, the first child born under this sky. The orb is showing you all of it. And then more. You see Earth dying and distant. and 1,000 versions of humanity reaching for the stars. Some never made it. Some made it too late. But this one, your timeline survived. Because you chose to leave. Because Murph solved the equation. Because love persisted through time. Then silence, darkness, and a single image. You, sitting on the ridge, staring at the stars, a notebook in your lap, not writing, just remembering. You gasp awake in the chamber. Tars steadies you. "It's been 7 minutes," he says. You feel like you lived a lifetime. You look at the orb. Its light is fading, now slowly dimming, like a sunset behind glass. Amelia rushes in moments later. "Are you okay?" she asks, breathless. You nod. "I think it was saying goodbye." She frowns. "Why?" You look around the room, softly humming, warm, still, and say, "Because it finished what it came here to do." You rise to the surface. The air feels lighter. The colony is peaceful again. Children play near the field where the hatch first opened. No more signals, no more visions. Just clarity. You write that night. Not to Murph this time, but to yourself. And to whoever comes next. You write, "We are not alone in the universe, but we were never supposed to be." The colony is no longer a collection of domes. It's a city now. Fields stretch out in symmetrical curves. Lights blink gently in the dark. Children you once carried on your shoulders now work the land, teach, build. You walk among them quietly. No one calls you pilot anymore. You're just Coop now, and that's enough. Most days, you visit the old hatch sometimes. It's sealed now. The orb chamber collapsed naturally. No warning, no tremor, as if it was never meant to remain open. Amelia believes the energy that once pulsed there was spent. A final message, she said. Sent, received, complete. You believe her, and yet there's a weight in your chest that never fully lifted. A feeling that someone is still waiting. Murph's grave is near the northern garden, a small stone, carved by hand. You sit beside it every few weeks. Talk to her. Not about science, not about the past, just about now. How the tomatoes are growing better this year. How the stars still flicker with a rhythm that reminds you of piano keys. How sometimes, late at night, you swear you still hear her whisper your name. One morning, Tars finds you. His voice is flat, as always. But you know him well enough to hear the undertone. "I found something." You don't ask where. You already know. He takes you to a remote ridge far from the colony. A signal's pulsing gently. Not loud, not urgent. Just consistent. Tars plays it aloud. And you freeze. Because it's not binary, not coordinates. It's music. A lullaby. The one you hummed to Murph when she couldn't sleep. The one only she would have remembered. The decision doesn't take long. You ready the old pod? Amelia helps you load supplies. She doesn't try to stop you. She just hugs you once, tighter than ever before. "I hope you find what you're looking for," she whispers. You don't say anything, but your eyes say everything. Launch is simple, like riding a bike after decades. The sky peels back. The stars welcome you. And for the first time in a long time, you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You follow the signal, past orbit, past known space. You pass the planet where Edmonds once stood. You pass the edge of your map, until all that's left is dark. And the music, still playing, still waiting. Then you see it. Not a planet, not a station, just light, folded in space. A doorway, not made of metal or glass, but memory. You approach slowly. The music grows louder, not with sound, but with feeling. You close your eyes, and everything disappears. When you open them, you're in a room, wooden walls, a bookshelf, a ticking clock, and a little girl sitting on the floor, drawing with crayons. She looks up. smiles. Hi, Daddy. You fall to your knees. Tears fall before you can speak. Because this isn't time travel. This isn't science. This is grace. And somewhere, far above, the stars keep spinning. The colony keeps thriving. New generations rise. And in the oldest corner of their archive, there's a story passed down through whispers. About a man who flew into the stars one last time to follow a lullaby and never came back. Because maybe he never left. Maybe he finally found home